Okay. Good evening. I'm going to call the Governor's Governance and Finance and Governance Committee to order for May 9th to order. And Madam Clerk, roll call and posting of the agenda.
Member Tehran,
Here.
Chair Zaragoza.
Here.
We have a quorum for this meeting. The agenda for this meeting was posted at the City Hall Bulletin Board on May 2nd, 2023.
Thank you. Please help me salute our flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is public comments. And Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers either here or virtually?
Chair Zaragoza, we have no speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Okay, our next item is item C1. This is consent item, City Clerk Department. Approval of the minutes that the Finance and Governance Committee approved the minutes of April 25th, 2013 regular meeting. Councilmember.
I'll move to accept the minutes as presented.
And I'll second that. Let's vote.
Motion carries 2-0.
Thank you. Our next item is D1. This is a Culture and Community Service Department. Lease agreement with the Catalyst Family Incorporated. Recommendation that the Finance Governance Committee recommend that the City Council approve and authorize the mayor to execute a lease agreement for 3 years with monthly leases rates at $8,614.10 for fiscal year 23-24 and $8,829.45 for fiscal 24-25 and $9,050.19 for fiscal 25-26 with the Catalyst Family Incorporated CFI for a portion of South Oxnard Community Center. And this is over on Bart Road. And of course, this was a pre-recorded item under Measure M, and we do have Mr. Terrell Harrison for any additional questions we might have on this item. So, real quick, Terrell, I understand this family's been doing this for about 40 years or so, is that correct?
Yes, Chair Zaragoza. They've been there for that long, and this is the same group that specializes in childcare for low to moderate income families.
Madam Clerk, we do have our Councilwoman Basua join us.
Thank you, Mayor. Please let the record show that Member Basua has arrived at 5:04 p.m.
And Terrell, I'm sorry, I said 40, it's 46 years. Huh?
Yes.
And I understand they provide quality childcare for infants and preschool children, and they have a 30-year relationship with the city of Oxnard and South Oxnard.
Correct, Chair.
Providing quality care for infants and preschool children. So, Councilmember, any questions, item? No? Yes?
No questions, Mayor, but I just want to thank our rec staff for bringing this forward and for your diligence in vetting the lease and the folks we have out there. And it sounds like they've done good work for nearly half a century, it seems like, and continue to do work in South Oxnard and in our community. So I appreciate you bringing this forward. And I'll move the recommended action with that.
Okay, Councilmember.
Chair Zaragoza, excuse me.
No, any speakers on this item?
No, we have no speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Councilmember Tehran and second by Councilmember Basua. Please vote.
Can you please vote again?
Okay, we're verbally or, well, there we go. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries 3-0.
Mr. Harrison, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Our next item is Public Works. This is fiscal year 2023-24 golf annual plan. Recommendation that the Finance and Governance Committee recommend to the City Council to receive and file the River Ridge Golf Course Annual Plan for Fiscal Year 2023 as prepared by the American Golf Corporation. And we have Steve here for any questions, council members? See, go ahead.
Thank you.
Councilman Turan.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Howlett. I appreciate the information in the staff report and the presentation. Just so that we can have it for the benefit of the public, from what I see in the staff report, it seems that our golf course operations appear to be in the black for this year. Is that correct?
Correct. Chair Zaragoza and committee members, since American Golf has been operating the golf course since 2019, the golf course has been running in the black.
Thank you. And just for context, this is prior to my time on the council, but from what I recall, it was just a few years ago that there was actually a subsidy going to the golf course annually just to make up for lack of revenue, I guess, to meet operating costs. Is that correct as well?
That is my understanding. That predates me as well, committee member. But like I said, American Golf, in the time that they've been here, they haven't needed to utilize general funds. This is an enterprise fund, and so their golf operations are self-sustaining.
Okay.
Thank you. Just something I also want to share too, they're operating two 18 golf holes, right? Or total of 36, is that correct?
Correct.
And they're looking at about, what, a $5 increase on each, on the River Ridge and also the Victoria one, is that correct?
Correct, Chair Zaragoza. So if I could just summarize,
Yes.
back in 2019, when American Golf took over the golf course operations, they actually lowered the golf rates to promote more golf play. During that time, you know, everything has gone up in price in the past 5 years. However, the golf rates have remained the same, even though our competitors have raised their golf rates. So attached to the staff report are the other golf courses in the region and their rates. And so even with the $5 increase in the rates, the golf course is still comparable to what the other golf courses are charging.
And also, of course, they're looking at some of the capital items, they have to replace refrigerator and stove and some other items that are really important for the operation, which I think they need to do.
Correct, Chair Zaragoza. We are now at a point with the golf course facilities that we have, like everything else, some deferred maintenance that needs to be addressed. This past year, they had to replace the refrigerator as well as make some repairs to the air conditioning units. The big ticket item that's coming up is the roof replacement. That's going to be about $1 million to $1.5 million. However, none of these will require general fund contributions. This is all part of the golf reserves. But yes, we still need to continue building up these reserves. The question would be, if we're still continuing to generate about $1 million a year in revenue, do we need to raise the rates? If we do not raise the rates, that $1 million in revenue is going to shrink very fast. Because like I said, just the roof alone is going to be $1.2 million. We have just over $4 million in reserves right now. We like to keep 6 months of operating expenses available in the reserves. So that would be $2.5 million right there. And like I said, we have the big roofing project. So we need to continue building up these reserves so we can address some of these deferred maintenance items.
And I think one of the things that you mentioned earlier is that this is a self-supporting enterprise, which I think is really, really important. No general fund money goes into it. In fact, we receive monies from. One of the things that I saw in your report too, which is, it's really great too, is that they have a additional service for the community. They have the youth program, which is really great. And also they have the other nonprofit items that they do. And also they have free wedding and quinceañera shows. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I'd like to take this opportunity to invite Dee Fairbanks, the general manager for the golf operations, up so she can explain those great events in detail.
That's great. I didn't realize we had that until I read your report, So can you share some more information?
Yes, so we do weddings. We do about 4 to 6 a year. Every year in March, we do what is called the Wedding Show Weekend, which has vendors come, and so it's free to the public. They can come and visit with the vendors to see what it would be to do a wedding. It also showcases River Ridge and our capabilities. We provide hors d'oeuvres so that people can see what kind of food that we're capable of serving. So we've done that every year except for the first year with the pandemic. We've also, this year was the first time we did a quinceañera show.
Oh, good.
So we had over 100 participants that came, and that was really successful. We ended up with 20 inquiries that we're now researching through for people to come to our facilities to do their quinceañeras. So we do those along with celebration of life. We do retirement parties, and I believe we did a retirement party for a police officer from the Oxnard Police
PD.
Department.
That's great. And the youth program, are you working with the high schools or with the
Yes.
with
So
junior highs?
we provide the golf course to Oxnard High, Pacific, Channel Islands,
Channel Islands High School.
oh, and Ventura College, yes. Yes.
Good. Well, I read that, and I really didn't know that, because I think that's really good for the community that you guys are doing that, so.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, you know, one of the most important things that is self-supporting, and you're also taking care of the golf course, and it looks great, by the way, too.
Thank
And
you.
the little rain helped us a little bit, too.
We're working very hard on it.
Thank you. Councilor Basu?
I actually just have one question that you can probably answer for me. One thing in the report, by the way, very well written report, is the dynamic pricing. How does that work? Like, at what point?
yes, there's that.
At what point in the season do you say, okay, we're going to reduce prices?
So dynamic pricing works such that it's based on demand. So when people go to book online, if there's a lot of demand, the price is going to stay what the price is, you know, at that time. Later in the day, as the demand drops, the price will drop. So people can get, so the whole point of doing dynamic pricing is people can get online and go, oh, hey, this is a really great deal. I want to go play golf.
Oh,
So the prices can vary from day to day,
Yes,
depending on
Demand.
capacity and demand.
correct.
So if it's full, you're obviously going to pay full price, but if
Correct.
there is no users, you might get a lower price. Huh,
Correct.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go, Councilor Tron.
Thank you for that question, Councilwoman Basu. I had that in my notes and completely missed it also. Thank you for explaining it also. I think it's similar to put us in line with some other big players here. I think Disneyland does a similar dynamic pricing, but at a much bigger scale, I'm sure, as far as ticket prices go, depending on attendance. And
So does your airlines.
oh, that's right. Yeah,
Your airlines, depending on when you want to book,
Oh,
can be different.
great. So I would anticipate this would also help to kind of level out or make more consistency with our attendance or play, because some may see that it's a little bit lower demand and they may think, hey, I'm going to head out there then, right? Put a few hours in.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
All right, I had one last question,
Go
Mayor,
ahead.
if that's all
Go
right.
ahead.
And this just came up during this discussion, and so I'm hoping that we wouldn't mind revisiting it very briefly, but if we have an operator there, I'm not sure if Mr. Howlett or someone else would take this, but if we have an operator, why does the city have to pay for repairs and capital improvements such as the roof that was mentioned? And I just hope that we can re-highlight that again for the public to hear.
Sure, Chair and committee members. Any capital items, this is a city property. At the end of the day, the golf course, the clubhouse, the equipment that's on there, it's all city property. So American Golf is operating the facility on behalf of the city to generate as much revenues, but also they're all subject matter experts in maintaining and operating golf courses. So that's the benefit of having them there. But at the end of the day, it is still a city asset that we're responsible for maintaining, but we do not maintain it from general funds. It is all maintained by the Golf Enterprise operation.
Thank you. And I guess that'd be similar to a landlord-renter relationship where we would ultimately be the property owners and responsible for repairs of the facility itself, correct?
And if the landlord is smart, they're socking away some money so they can make some
Yes.
repairs on the property.
That's it.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you, Mr. Hallett. I much appreciate
That's
it.
why the reserves are so important. I have one last question. I'm not sure if, maybe this is for the operator they used to have what they used to call, I think, the twilight fees for the dads and kids to go after. Do they still have that?
Correct. The twilight rates are still in place, and depending on the time of the year is when the twilight rates begin.
But summertime probably, right?
Correct.
Uh-huh.
But they are listed as an attachment of the staff report. We do have the fees that American Golf has charged for the past 4 years, with the last year showing the current rates.
I remember 200 years ago, I used to take my son, and now he takes my grandson, so. And that was fun, because after work, and after school, just to go out there and kind of hit a couple of balls, and it was just fun. So, thank you for that. Any speakers?
Yes, we have one virtual speakers. Speaker with phone number ending in 0377. Please press *6 to unmute and introduce yourself if you like.
Okay.
You have 3 minutes.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. How are you? To Eduardo Huerta. Hey, Gabby. Hey, Gabe. How are you? Mayor, the reason why I'm calling is just because I wanted to say all these recommendations sound pretty nice, but at the end, we know it has to do a lot to do with the infrastructure, say the media group, and how things are ran by the city. I know a lot about this, and so the other thing is how much of this money that we get from the Cowboys goes into our infrastructure, fixing our golf course. It is all these residents do live around these golf courses, and they do care about these facilities. At the end, we're talking about price gouging and comparing it to rent increase and how property owners should be responsible for the property. Well, right now we're trying to fix our infrastructure, trying to find a way of fixing the gap in our housing prices. So at the end, I would think if we're going to support our homeowners, and at the end, if we're going to have our homeowners rent their properties, just like releasing properties, we have to support these homeowners, and we have to support the property owners on their infrastructure. And if we're allowing them, and if we're making money off events, we have to meet them halfway and supporting them in their needs. At the end, it is a public, like you said, it is a facility that's open to the public, and at the end, we do use it for city events. I think it's just horrible that at the end we laugh about how bad our infrastructure has been and how we have picked it up. And I think we should take some responsibility on all these actions, because at the end, Gabe and Gary Basua, it's not about politics, it's not about running for office, who's going to sit as mayor. It's really about fixing the situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your input. Okay, any additional speakers, either virtually or here?
Chair Zaragoza, there's no additional speakers virtually or in person for this item.
Thank you. So this time I'd like to make a motion to approve this item.
I will move the recommended action.
Okay, motion by Zaragoza, second by Basua. Please vote. Okay,
Thank you, Mayor.
thank
It's
you.
received and filed.
All righty. The receive and file. Okay, so our next item is item E. Any items for future agendas, council members?
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
No,
Nope.
none on my part, so we are adjourned. Thank you.